my name is Beth Hiley here for Board Game Geek. I'm sitting down with Az Drummond from Mythic Games, and you have a little sneak preview to show us of something still very much in production and development. So, Super Fantasy Brawl.
This is it. So, I really appreciate your time because I know like loads of people come on here, and to let us come on and show something really early, this is a real treat. So thank you, Beth, for letting us do this. This is a game that we will be bringing to Kickstarter this summer. So it's quite a little bit away yet, but Cannes is a huge festival for us. We love being here. We love sharing this early as we possibly can because feedback and energy from the community is part of what drives us. This game, so maybe this shot's good for now, is an arena battle game. The Super is very much the high energy, over the top, dramatic, colorful, loads of energy in the game. Fantasy is elves, dwarfs, goblins, wizards, sorcerers, barbarians, all your traditional fantasy stuff. But also your dream team. So it's your fantastic, what if you wanted to make your ultimate werewolf, vampire, pirate team? What would your dream team be, kind of thing? And the Brawl, well, I think Brawl speaks for itself, doesn't it really? It's all about having a brawl. And we saw this game for the first time at Essen Spiel last year. It was brought to us. We get many demos. Loads of people come to us saying, you're a big publisher, would you like to bring our game? We saw this, and I promise you, I have never been floored by a game more in my entire life. I went, we want this, you're not leaving, I want this right now. A lovely designer named Joachim, he showed us this game, and we said, we want to publish this. We're all over it like that. So we are showing this for the very first time. And I want to give everyone a little teaser for what they can expect from Super Fantasy Brawl when you play it. The idea is you'll be taking on the role of these champions. So you're going to be taking on the role almost of a wizard, summoning your favorite ultimate champions from all of fantasy time. So in this case, we have Gyokin, who's a Tagaran sword master. Then we have Dugrin, who's a dwarven eyes. He's kind of like the warden of the frozen north. He's very much sturdy, brave dwarf, very much the kind of typical things you expect. And we're taking the original prototype, which is what would you see here with the board, and this original prototype art, and we are upgrading it with a fantastic artist called Johannes Helgesen, who is putting a ton of character, beautiful, vibrant, popping off the page pieces. And the idea is that you're going to take on 3 of these champions, you're going to throw them into an arena, into like a magical battlefield with card-driven combat, trying to take down and score objectives against another opponent. This game is kind of like a very light, easy to pick up, but very deep and methodical strategic strategy game for 1 versus 1, primarily 1 versus 1. We're really thinking organized play for this. So the idea is that you'll start on the battlefield, 3 champions, we only have 2 here unfortunately, but 3 champions versus 3 champions. You'll have some random objective cards, and you'll also have some random traps, turn these over, that'll be featured around the map, and you'll have a common pool of objectives that you're going to fight with your opponent over. The idea is first to 3 or first to 5 points wins the game. You'll play a game in only about 20 minutes. It's very simple. It's very much card driven. The game revolves around magic. So when you play in your hand, you'll have 5 cards in your hand, and there'll be 3 types of magic cards in the game. There'll be control, creation, and destruction. Each turn, you play 1 of each, and that's it. So I may move, I may push, I may control an objective, I may move into an orange zone, try and control a building, and hope that in your turn, you don't push me back into the trap. I will have this toing and froing of fast, super energetic action that really will reward the player who can see the combos with the most skill. There's no dice rolling. There's a little bit of randomness in the decks, but no randomness in the dice. So you'll make decisions that are deterministic. You'll know exactly the outcome before you make it. So generally through playtesting, what we've seen is the better player, the more skilled, the one who's looking at the combinations of different champions and different options will 9 times out of 10 take the game. It's completely faction free. So what we're hoping is when we go to Kickstarter this summer, we'll start with about 12 champions, but when we go to retail next year, we want to support this hugely. We want organized play, we want regular monthly champions coming out, we want you to have a champion with new cards, and you can completely change your team every single time. So if you want to have a dwarf with a wizard with a samurai, cool. If you want to have a pirate with a ninja and an elemental sorceress, cool. And we want all of our characters to be full, I'll grab these, full of personality. So for example, here is some proper jump off the page art for Dugrin. So this is our Northern Warden. He's really a traditional dwarf, but he's very much enthused with the defense of his home city, where he gains the power of the mountain to unleash like frozen hell. We want it to be very traditional fantasy that everyone can recognize, but have our own kind of super up version of it, so it all feels a little bit more energetic. This is the temporarily named Gyokin. This is all Johannes' work. He's a Swedish artist. He's just out of this world. Beautiful. And he's a very different character with very different cards. He's much more about honor, meeting his opponents in one-on-one, using his dual swords for kind of combo attacks, and the play style will be very, very different, which again, if we compare it to someone like Gwen, she will come with much more of an elemental, ranged attack, controlling the battlefield, moving and powering units away with her fire and her lightning, trying to control everyone. So how you combine these together will really define how your team works, and you'll be able to interchange them however you wish. If you want to go really old school, grab yourself Goldar. He's the scourge of several seas. We don't quite know how many or where they are, but apparently he's...
Oh, you actually have several seas.
For us, it should have a real light-hearted, fun feel. The gameplay itself is super easy, and it should be able to pick it up in 2 minutes, and it should have a depth of feel. But when you look at it, you should be energized to really, paint and get involved with your characters and feel positive. We've gone for this chunky feeling, this big, bold feeling, because we want it to. When you're moving them around, they move with force and power. And each champion comes to 6 cards. So when you play a game, you've got 3 champions, you get 18 cards specific to those champions, you shuffle up your deck, it's unique to you. My deck will be unique to me. The organized play, we're hoping, will give people the chance to win, all the traditional stuff, art and neoprene mats, and go to your store and just have a fun evening. You can play maybe 5 games in one evening and just have a blast.
It's so fast.
Just have a blast together, and we hope to really enthuse the community. So we will be going to Kickstarter, but everything on the Kickstarter is something we'll also release in retail, because this game will be very, very focused on being balanced, regularly updated, regular releases, and we brought it here to Cannes just to see how people really felt about it on first seeing it, and the reception has been awesome so far. We're super excited for it.
Well, and you mentioned that even though it's still in a pretty early phase, you have created a page on BGG, so
we have indeed.
People could check it out if you want to see what information is public about it.
I will say, just because it's something you may see a little if you Google it or you look on BGG for it, there is some old stuff, because the game was around for about 2 years. Joachim was working on it a lot, refining it, getting it to where he was very happy. So he's put a lot of development time. You'll literally see stuff from 2015 with his first ever prototype still on there. And we just want to embrace that, because he's put years and years of development in. That means whenever we got to see it, we were like, this is ready. This is just, we just want to...
Makes your job easier.
It absolutely does. We want to put a polish on it, put a shine, write about the world, write about the lore, write about the wizards, put our mythic, artistic energy into the sculpts and the art, and then get it out there to fans. So 2019 is going to be a big, big, big year for this game.
Well, if you guys want to check that out, it was a sneak peek of Super Fantasy Brawl, which is going to be published by Mythic Games. And thank you so much for just giving us whetting our appetite.
That's perfect.
Summer.
Thank you, Beth.
You're welcome.